So now I want to demo how you would go about implementing a rotational strategy using the screener that's built into Alera. So the idea behind this is that if you have a set of stocks that you want to rotate through that are ranked, so 1 to however many you have, and you only want to take the top, let's say 10 stocks and hold those and then rotate those out every week or even every day, you could do it using this screener in Alera. So I'm going to demo this using Finviz, which is a website which has a screener kind of utility here, which will let you do the ranking and let you sort. It has a lot of custom settings, so you can do a lot of different things. This example here, what I've taken is some mid caps that had the highest dividend yield, over 5%, and I sorted them by the dividend yield. So we have 13 stocks here, and I'm only going to buy the first 10. So what we'll do is we'll take the URL here, we're going to copy it, we will paste it into this field here. I will click save, and then I can run order preview here to view what's going to happen. So there we go. So these are the 10 stocks that we're going to buy. And one thing you should note that's different from the last demo is that our strategy allocation now, instead of it being 100K USD, it's 10% of the portfolio, so which is 76K. That can be kind of up to your discretion if you want to allocate 10% of your portfolio or a fixed amount of money. The main difference here, though, is that we have this thing called custom lot size, which is actually used for the screener, because the screener doesn't provide how much they want to trade. It just tells you which stocks you want to trade, which ones you want to buy, and which ones you want to sell. So this tells you actually how much you want to allocate to every position. So it would make sense that we would allocate 10% of our strategy. So if our strategy is 76K, we allocate about 7.6K per stock, which is 10%. And the reason we chose 10% is because if we want to hold 10 positions, it makes sense to only to hold exactly 10% per position. So let's go and take this and actually run it live. So now it is running, and you'll see the positions pop up here. There we go. So here's all 10, and you'll notice that the value is about 7.6K for all of them, as expected. And what we can do from here is look at the cases where, suppose the next day the screener changes, we'll want to be able to switch out our positions or to rotate them. So we can go back to this one. So what I've done for this screener, which is the same as the other one, it's the same stocks, but I've sorted it by the market cap instead. And then what actually happens for these is that there's actually two different stocks in the top 10 than the last one. So what we expect is a two stock change. So I'll copy this again, and I will go back and replace this with a new one. We'll click save, and then we'll run order preview, and then we'll see that actually in this case, what we have is we have two positions we want to sell. So these are the ones that were removed out of the screener, and then two that we want to buy now. So the two that actually are in the screener now, or are in the top 10 rather. So we can close that, run it, and then we'll see that two of our positions here change. There you go. And we can go back into our log here, and we can see that these two orders went through to IB to close the position, and that two orders here, one order went in to open the position, and another one also went in to open the new position. Okay, so this was the demo of the rotational strategy. One thing you might want to also be interested in is not necessarily rotating stocks when they fall out of the top 10, but rather rotating stocks when they completely fall out of the screener. And you might be interested in doing that because if you're rotating pretty frequently, or if stocks move around rankings pretty frequently, you might make a lot of trades that you don't necessarily want to make because your screener might generally be good and the ranking doesn't matter that much. So what you could do is you could actually switch this selection mode from keep only first to prioritize first. And what this does is that it actually it tries to take the top 10, but it doesn't sell stocks unless they fall completely out of the screener. So in this case, since our screener didn't change, and if we were to run order preview, we would actually expect to see no orders because nothing moved. But even if we go to the other screener that I demoed first, and we go here, we put it back. So the one that's sorted by the dividend yield, we actually won't see a difference either because it's the same set of stocks, even though they're in different orders, and 2 of them are actually not on top 10 that were before. Overall, there is actually no change. So as we can see, there's no orders. Okay, and now next I want to talk about a different kind of application for the screener. So generally, sometimes you may have strategies that have different buy and sell thresholds. So for example, an RSI-based strategy like the one that Dave demoed 2 weeks ago, which is based on the RSI threshold. So either going below a certain value or above a certain value. So actually for this example, I decided to use 40 as the minimum threshold. So if RSI goes below 40, we want to buy the stock. And if it goes above 70, we want to sell it. In this example, just so we have enough positions here. So what this tells us is that the 2 screeners actually have 2 different thresholds. So you can't use one screener for this. You actually have to use 2 different screeners. So this screener here that you're seeing right now is telling us what positions to buy, and this one is telling us what positions to sell. So we can actually handle that using this dual screener. So a dual screener basically tells us that we want to hold certain positions and sell the other ones. Only when they enter the sell set of tickers, and we only want to buy when they enter the buy ones. But if you don't see a ticker in the sell set of tickers, you're not going to automatically sell it. You're going to hold it until it appears in the sell set of tickers. So let's go demo that. So this is the one we want to buy right here. So let's go put that in the buy URL. And this is the one we want to sell. So let's stick that here. And then we're going to click save. So in this case, there's only 5 positions. So if we run order preview, we're going to see that there's 5 positions that it wants to buy here. And we'll see that it's the first 5 that we see here. So let's take a refresh this page, because I think that it actually slightly changed since the last time that I had this open. Yeah, so there you go. So the first five. And actually that kind of shows you that it actually does change. Some of these can actually change pretty quickly over time. So that's a good sign. So you can use the same URL and it kind of updates over time, of course, to allow you to do your rotational strategies. So anyways, back to topic. So here are the 5 it wants to buy. And if we check out the logs, so what we'll actually see is that so it says webscreener.stc. So these are the ones we want to, so STC means sell to close. So these are the tickers here we want to sell. So there's 46 of them, as we can see here. There's 46. I don't know if you can see that, it's kind of small, but there's 46 in the sell URL over there. And then there's 6 we want to buy. And we set our strategy here to only take the top 5. So that's why you see those top 5 there. And then, yeah, so that's why you only see the top, so that's why you see 6 here, but there's 5 orders. And then we can also click run here, and then that will go and buy those positions. There you go. So yeah, that's kind of the idea behind this. And yeah, so this lets you do a rotational strategy that has 2 kind of different thresholds for entry and for exit, and it's relatively simple. And beyond that, I kind of want to also emphasize that this requires on your part to use absolutely no programming at it. If you can find a strategy you like on Finviz, for example, where you can set the parameters to buy and sell certain stocks, you can easily copy paste those URLs into Alera and run it. And that's great, especially if you want to go test it out, see how certain things work. You can quickly go and do that, as I've done here. And as you can see, some of these rankings actually change pretty quickly over time. So it does let you go and kind of, you can even possibly view kind of real-time changes in the screener and see how those kind of affect the positions. But that's the main idea behind the screener. And it can be used for a lot of things. I've only demoed Finviz, but you can also do it from files and even from other sources, like I'll demo later from Google Drive. And that's kind of another way to actually implement your signals, which is relatively simple, but it's very powerful. I can do a lot of things, as I've shown you.